Coach, you've had tight ends come in transfers come in each year that really helped you out. Are you seeing the same thing this year?
Yeah, I think so. I think really the whole room is doing a good job right now so far this spring, and the guys that we brought in have definitely added some maturity, some physicality to the room, and I think it goes back to the evaluation process of bringing in the right guys that fit our program and our culture, and I think we've been able to do that with some older guys out of the portal, right? And it's no different this year. I'm really excited about the guys that we brought in and think they're going to help us out a lot.
Kelly?
Gavin Harris is that kind of stretch guy that gives you that dynamic threat in the passing game. You haven't really had that as much. How much does that help the offense and what Coach Godsey's trying to do, and maybe some of the tweaks that you guys can do in terms of personnel having that guy?
Yeah, Gavin has been a great addition, right? And I think if you really watch what he'd been able to do the last couple of years at the different stops he was at, like he's able to stretch the field, and he's had a bunch of career catches, and at the same time he's a much better blocker than you would think just looking at him. But no, he's done a great job this spring of allowing us to open up the offense, be able to stretch the field, and kind of move him around. And I think you guys saw today some things in the scrimmage of him getting out there, and I think that Gavin's going to have a good year for us, right? And he's a crafty route runner. Like he understands coverage. He can see where the defense is presenting him and find ways to get open. So I've been really pleased with Gavin so far this spring and the effort that he's given us, and I think that he's going to make a difference for us this year. And certainly, like at the tight end position, like we've got a room that has guys with different skill sets, right? And that's been really important with us and with Coach Godsey's vision for the offense, right? To be able to utilize those guys and find goals for them, and Gavin's certainly going to do that for us this fall. Sorry.
Najeh.
Kind of two-part question, Coach. First, just who's been sent out to you so far in the spring in the tight end room, and then how do you just evaluate some of the guys you get? Like you said, it's a very versatile room. Guys can catch, guys can block, but how do you just try to bring in the guys that fit the scheme in the system?
Yeah, I've been very pleased with the entire room, truthfully. Again, it goes back to I think that the transfers have done a great job of coming in and competing and working and adjusting to the culture, right, that Coach Key has established. And then on top of that, we've got some young guys now that are going into year 2 in the program, year 3 that are starting to take those next steps, right, and showing improvement and development. As far as evaluating skill sets and what guys do, again, it kind of goes back to everybody's different, right? We want to recruit tough players that can stretch the field, that aren't afraid to block at the point of contact, and it's our job as coaches to find ways to utilize their skill sets and put them in position to have success, right? And that's a big thing, that Coach Key says, it's always about the players, not the plays, right? We're poor coaches if we just go out there and run things that our kids can't execute, right? So trying to find ways as coaches to put those guys in position to be successful, and that's a thing that I think Coach Godsey's done a great job of so far this spring, and something that we'll look forward to doing this fall.
In that same area, we've seen the tight end position get more involved each year since you've been here with Coach Godsey. Now, do you see that amping up a little more this year?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been great. Truthfully, for me as a young coach, to have somebody that's worked at that position and coached, honestly, some of the best to ever play the position, right? And Gronk and Mark Andrews and Isaiah, the guys that he's coached, and that's also been a huge selling point for me with recruits. If you're serious about playing tight end, look at what we've been able to do here the last 4 years with some of the guys that we've had, and then look at what Coach Godsey has done for 15 years in the NFL. It's a no-brainer to me, right? And I think that they're going to be a big part of the offense, right? Whether we go out there and have 15 catches a game or 2, that will change week to week, right? But with what we're able to do with those guys, to allow us to be versatile as an offense, I think that it's really good. But no, it's certainly been a big help, and really excited to continue working for him, and I think our guys are doing a really good job.
Kelly.
With Kevin Roche, God only makes so many people with that size, skill, ability combination, right? How special is it to have somebody that, with his size and the natural ability, and then also trying to, fill him out into a tight end body from being a guy who's a receiver? Yeah,
Kevin is doing a great job. He's had a great spring. He has gotten better every single day, and his want to and his effort, his give a shit factor is through the roof. Like, he loves football, he loves coming out here, and I think that he's doing a great job. Truthfully, like, he's put on some weight, right? He looks good out there, and yeah, you're right. Like, nobody makes 6'8", 265-pound guys that can run 20 miles an hour, right? So he's able to help us in a lot of different ways, and really excited to continue seeing the steps he takes and the fall that he has for us. I'm sorry, I talked a little bit. Hopefully we can edit that out.
Language we understand.
Yeah, right.
Obviously, Coach, next week is the spring game. Just where ideally do you want to see this group at the end of next week, and where do you want to see them kind of progress as summer training camp comes and then eventually fall camp?
Yeah, I think most importantly, the biggest thing, right, for us right now in the tight end room is all the pre-snap stuff. Like, again, like, I'm really lucky. Like, we got a room of guys that are willing to be coached and always give great effort. Like, I haven't had to go out there and coach attitude or effort, right? So it's more the pre-snap stuff, right? The understanding the defense, the getting lined up, like all the little things, right, that make a great football team, win games late in the season because they're fundamentally sound, right? So if we can come out, at the spring game next week and come out of spring feeling really good about, our fundamentals, right, our technique, how we're able to run off the ball and get our hands inside, like all those little details, then I'll be really excited with how we progress into the summer, right? Because you can start building from that, right? But we need to be a fundamentally sound football team, and you've heard Coach Key say that all spring, and it's trickled down obviously to each and every position room. And so if we can get that done next week, I'll feel really good about where we're at.
Anything else, Kelly?
I wanted to ask you about Spencer Murphy. I know he's been out, but
Yeah.
something that stood out to me talking to him before he got here was just his love of blocking and being physical. It's like he's like a tight end, offensive tackle, fullback. Like, he likes all of those roles. What is it like to have somebody that has that level of engagement and takes so much pride in their blocking?
Yeah, I've loved Spencer. He is a great dude. Like, loves football, loves being physical. Like, when we came, and I think this was part of the reason we were able to sign Spencer, out of the portal. Like, we came in, we watched his tape, and we were very truthful with him and how we saw him fitting into our offense and how we were going to utilize him. And he was like, other coaches told me I was going to catch, 30 balls next year. He's like, I don't know why they would tell me that. I've never caught 30 balls in my life. Like, so like we, I think it goes back to, finding guys that are the right fit, right, in the recruiting process. But no, there might not be anybody on the planet that wants to put their face on somebody more than Spencer, right? And I joke with them. Obviously, we had Jackson a few years ago, and they know each other. But like, they're different players. And I told that to Spencer. I'm like, just because you guys both went to Yale and like to block people, like, you're different. Like, I see you differently. So getting him back healthy is going to be really important. And I'm really excited to see him, get in the run game, and he probably will catch a couple of balls this year too. So we'll see. So, but I'm excited about Spencer for sure.
Anything else?